And welcome back to another episode of the Branching Out podcast. Very excited this week. We've got Emma Hopes, one of our HSQE managers, part of our safety team here at Ground Control. I'm just going to go right into it like I usually do. So, hi, Emma. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for talking with us.
Hi, Jess. You all right?
Good. Thank you. Thank you. How are you today?
Yeah, doing very well. Thank you. It's Friday. It is a blustery Friday, but it is Friday after all.
Yeah, it is. I could hear it at 3 a.m. hit the house. I don't know if it's the same for you. I don't know whereabouts in the country are you?
Midlands. So yeah,
Midlands. Yeah, you got it worse than us then, because I'm way over on the East Coast. So we get like the remnants of everyone's bad weather, basically. Right. Well, enough about the weather. I think we've touched that.
Typically British. Yeah.
No, let's just be. The American trying to be British. No. So obviously we're getting started with the year. It's busy. I mean, HSQA, you guys are always trying to cover lots of different bases in safety. Can you give us a bit more of a breath of what exactly an HSQE manager is and what your role is at Ground Control?
Of course. So a typical week for me, in LD&E especially, we would probably do about 3 to 4 site visits on average a week. So that's then doing our sort of engagement visits with the guys on site. Might be some witness inspections in there, might just be literally just touching base and getting a feel for how the guys are getting on. Mm-hmm. And then with that, we'll also be doing, at this time of year, we're starting to look at strategy as well, the HSQE strategy for the next 12 months, but also we've got the 5-year strategy plan we've got to start looking at. So those meetings are starting to happen now, ready for looking for the future. So that's sort of falling part of our works now, which is exciting to look for, like, the next 5 years, which is great. A lot of positive work's happened over the last sort of 2 years as well in health and safety and quality. And the site teams are going to start seeing a lot of changes on safety culture, which will be great, with some forms and templates, trying to make them slicker, easier, quicker, more user-friendly. So there'll be some training rolling out. So we're looking at training the guys on that at the moment. Unfortunately, we are reactive at times. So we do have incidents in the business. So we support the operations teams with that. But yeah, just trying to be proactive, getting ahead of the curve and doing some good work.
Yeah. So so obviously we provide the learning service, might provide like the financial coaching side of it. You guys really are, you're providing the insight and the expertise in making sure everyone stays safe and goes home at the end of the day. I guess you talked a little bit about the site visits. Can you just tell me a bit more about, so you're auditing a bit sometimes, making sure everyone's dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure all the same. Is some of that as well like wellness, or are you trying to make sure that I guess maybe promoting safe behaviors as well as I guess what all goes into a site visit?
It's everything, to be fair with you, Jess. Oh, so yeah. Depends on how mature the site is. So we have some projects that are running for a couple of years. Yep. So they're very mature. They're quite settled into their health and safety routine. So it's a touch base to make sure that none of that slipped. And then a lot of then is the engagement with the teams. It's the welfare, how they're feeling, what's going on, are they having any stresses. Some of the projects that we're sort of not quite in the flow of yet will help them a lot more with their health and safety, with the site setup, making sure that we mobilise correctly. But generally it is just engaging with the guys on the ground and seeing what they see, getting an idea of how they feel. And we do support with things like personal health risk assessments. So if people are particularly got anything that needs some special attention, then obviously the team will help them with that, make some specialist adjustments, do regular check-ins. A lot of the team as well are mental health first aiders. So we do reach out for the sort of mental health side of the health, safety and well-being part of our job.
And do you find, because obviously, I've worked with health and safety team since I started at Ground Control, sometimes more times than not. do you feel like, because obviously there's been a big change in health and safety, even in the last 10 years, I could see that being in the business. Do you feel like people are, and I know there's like an old school kind of mentality in construction, no offense, I don't want to offend anyone, but there is that kind of like, we are still trying to, I guess, I don't know if we are still trying, or do you feel people are more on it when it comes to health and safety and reaching out and making, like, do you feel that people are a bit more on key with that? Has like the safety culture app helped with that at all, or is it really getting out there and talking to people, do you think?
I think there's definitely been a culture shift, and people are moving towards the behavioural side of safety. So hearts and minds have been one. I think we're very early in our behavioural safety journey in ground control. So we are sort of drip feeding and just constant messages out to the teams. And I think most of that is face-to-face visits, being present, listening. Our Amber Alerts has got your voice counts are taken in, so people can reach out through that, so we can touch base with them through the your voice counts. And it is just a constant message across the business. But I do think we are very early in our journey and winning hearts and minds. And it is a hard process because of the model that GC has with having field teams and not direct employees.
Yeah,
it's almost like another level that you've got to get down to with that message.
so that's probably one of your biggest challenges, really, is communicating. Not just like, you have to communicate at all levels, really. Is that probably one of your bigger challenges, is trying to get it, do your message, but have it speak to the different people that you work with?
Yeah, it's communicating it in methods that different levels and different people will receive, and it's keeping the message consistent as well.
Yeah, and that's what we want, people to go home safe at the end of the day, really.
100%.
So one thing that you kind of talked about that you said it happens, I guess, could we talk a little bit about what do you guys do when it does happen, when an accident or an incident occurs in your area of the business? How do you, where do you come in, and how do you handle an incident or accident in the business? Obviously people might have done the incident reporting, like they kind of know the process, but I guess what does that look like for you when you're going through that process?
Yeah, so it all depends on obviously the severity or potential severity of the incident as to how much involvement comes from the HSQE department or how much operations pick up themselves. We're always there in a support capacity regardless of if it's a low level incident, but generally we will support the operations team on gathering any of the information for the incident. We've got an electronic H1 now which guides very easily through all the areas that you need to cover of an incident. We will definitely help get to the root cause, which is obviously fundamentally what we need to do to make sure that we prevent reoccurrence of these incidents. And sometimes, you know, if we have a bad incident in the business, it is mental support. It is, you know, advising people to get some sort of consultation or with what actually happens following an incident. I'm bumbling, I'm so sorry.
No. How about we take a pause? No, I thought what you were saying was really, I think what you're saying it's interesting, because you need to, you're empowering the operations team really to take, they need to take responsibility. I mean, we all need to take responsibility in our own safety and our team's safety. And I think what you said is really important, in that our guys working in operations, our managers, you need to take responsibility for your safety and for your team's safety. And just like training is a support service for developing your teams, health and safety is a support service to help you do that part of your job and making sure that your people stay safe until the end of the day. So I think that's really good. You talked about the exciting templates and making things easier, more efficient for people on the safety app. Is there anything else that's kind of coming up that you guys are kind of excited about in 2025?
That's a really good question, actually, to be fair. Obviously, behavioural safety is going to be an ongoing part of the strategy.
Yep.
It's going to be a consistent fed message, so that are constantly undergoing. We're going to be improving our skill sets within the HSQE team as well, with accident investigation, formal investigation training for high level incidents.
Yep.
Safety culture, obviously we've alluded to already. There's going to be huge changes in the safety culture with the templates. That's an ongoing project. The red alert process is being simplified at the moment, so it'll be one template for all, and the template will then determine where things go. So training's being rolled out shortly across the business for that.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that, everyone.
Yeah, keep an eye out.
Read that email, do that training.
There's just so much going on, but as you say, the strategies haven't been finalised at the moment. We're still looking at where we want to be in 5 years' time. I think the biggest consistent message to the whole of the business is get your Amber Alerts reported. They are our biggest bit of information as to what's actually happening on site when we can't be there.
Definitely make sure people are filling those out, so that, I mean, it only makes things better at ground control for sharing that kind of information. Really making sure that it's not like, it might even be a small thing, but that small thing could become a bigger thing. So by all means, definitely make sure everyone that would be on site, or managers, making sure people know that that is something that we need to stay on top of, definitely. So obviously you guys have a lot, you're doing a lot. How do you like organize yourself for a week? Like how do you make, because you got your plate is, you're juggling a lot of plates, it sounds like. So how do you keep your self organized, I guess, when you're trying to manage all these things?
Yeah, I suppose most of it is week on week, because we are so dynamic as a business, and we change where people are, projects, etc. We tend to just plan a week in advance. So
yeah,
sort of the week before, start looking at where we're going to be the week after. I know most of the business units, we have meetings with the SLTs, it's the HSQE, and they that help us focus where we need to sort of put our energy.
Okay.
And we have those in Aldini on a weekly basis, so that's really good. That's useful information for us as to what sites we're on, sites that have got some high risk activities happening, and then we focus our energies on those to go and help and support in those areas.
And that's good. That's really good, like relationship building as well, and keeping the team, like you all, like part of, because everyone's doing things all over the country, that touch base and making sure that the team is all on the same page is really important. So would you say, because obviously health and safety is part of the support service at ground control, we have our own stereotypes in training. Do you have any misconceptions or stereotypes that you think people think about health and safety that you would like to debunk?
Yeah, the big one obviously with health and safety is that we're only there to find things that are wrong and cause more work for people. And obviously it's a bolt on, and that's not the case. We are one team at GC. We've all got the end goal to produce wonderful work and complete great projects, keep clients happy, and ultimately everybody go home safe and in the same condition that they came to work in. So I kind of like to debunk that we're not a bolt on. We are part of the everyday works, and we are one team. So when we come to site and we're having chats with you and we're finding, things that we're not doing quite so well as finding things that we're doing really well, there's some really good bits of best practice going on in the business. This is so we can all get to the end goal in a way that we want to. So yeah, we're not scary. We haven't got clipboards. We're not wearing tweed jackets with elbow patches. We are part of the team, and we are part of the sort of end goal, really.
No, we are one team. The goal is to produce a great product for our client and help the environment, really. And I'm going to flip the topic a little bit. We're going to talk about you, Emma. We're going to talk about your development. This is the L&D podcast after all. So I know that you had a graduation yesterday. Could you tell us a little bit about what development you've been going through in the last year?
So yeah, GC lead, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, graduated last year, 12 months of hard, intense, but extremely fun work. Was very lucky to have a good cohort of delegates on the course. Building psychological safety, both with the delegates on the course and learning how to build psychological safety in our own teams that we work in. If anyone's looking at what courses to do this year and they're thinking of perhaps GC lead, I would say 100% go for it. You have to dedicate to it, but it's worth it. You get out a lot.
Yes, that psychological safety thing, obviously that's something we very much practice that's just a part of our team. That's what we do. We talk about it every year. We have a little psychological safety page, and we talk as a team about what that means and where our touch points are. I think if you can then take that and apply it to your team or even your division that you're working in, I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, they're intrinsically linked, aren't they? And if you can make somebody feel safe psychologically, then they're going to be very open and honest. And only then, when we get open and honest conversations, can we really start looking at behavioural safety in a positive way and moving it forward. So yeah, definitely.
Would you so you've done your GC lead, is there anything that you're looking to further develop in the next year? Are you going to try to do pick a mix, or you got something else in mind?
So I did a bit of the pick a mix prior to doing my GC lead, having only graduated yesterday, Jess.
Yeah, I know I'm pushing it. Learn more.
I do like promoting other doing L&D, but I think I'm going to take probably a month or two to just really sort of hone the skills I've learned, because it's definitely a course where they teach you how to do things, but you've got to put it into practice. And I think that's prudent for me personally moving forward. Like I say, I shall then perhaps look at some other stuff. You've got some great external proper qualifications that you've released this year as well, so probably next financial year I'll start looking into something on there, definitely.
I got GC Grow, so where you don't have to pay for it. We pay for it through the levy, and it's a really good program. So yes, definitely you deserve a rest. I'll give you that. I'll let you have a rest. I'll let you have a break. And yeah, if you don't apply what you've learned, then it's just gonna go. So definitely apply what you've learned. I think that's a good takeaway. I'd like to end on a parting bit of let's part everyone with a bit of knowledge or a bit of advice. What is the best advice you've ever been given?
Right. Yeah, it's a really good one. I suppose what really sticks with me, when I was very early in my career, one of my managers, I was very good at putting emotion into emails, which is not the way to do it. And I was always told, he told me one day, write the email you want to send, so you vent your frustrations, then delete it and write the email you should send. And that's stuck with me through my whole career. Yeah,
get it out, but don't ever reply in anger. It doesn't go very well. Think before you send. That's a good one. I love it. Thank you very much, Emma, for taking the time to talk with us today, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, Jess. Take care.
Thank you.
And thank you again to Emma Hopes for joining us this week on the Branching Out podcast. If you'd like to get involved with podcasts, please feel free to reach out. Until next time, take care.